Gaurika. Good morning, everyone. Welcoming you all to another session on self-healing in test automation. Okay. This word is not new to any latest test automation tools, but most of the organizations are still with legacy automations, tools or frameworks. So immediate shift to any latest low code will be very costly for them. So that's where we will check how this self healing in legacy platforms like Robot Framework can be implemented and how much it helps. Okay. With me, I have Kavitha and Vinay from CGI QE practice. We work along with the different domains and projects towards accelerating testing across different phases of the cycle. During the presentation, Kavitha can take up any questions which you post in the chat. Uh, Thanks for that. And the quick agenda. So we will see what is the challenges in the traditional test script maintenance and what is the solution we are bringing and what are the key benefits, and final we'll close it with the final thoughts. Okay. So yeah, we see this how it is the testing is been evolving day to day. Okay, we started with waterfall methodology a few years back. Then we experimentation we did with the development approaches, and then we use agile came into it, agile methodology. Then DevOps and continuous testing was there, and now collaboration and smart testing is ruling it, and we are in the need to do an immediate shift to it. Okay, so last couple of days on different sessions and keynotes, we were witnessing how much testing turned and the need of the hyper automation in today's testing and the agile world is getting more important. Okay, yeah, the next slide. See, okay, exactly, we will be getting some regression or system testing run results which will be popping up in our mailbox during the weekends only. Okay, just to spoil our weekend plans. So research tells around 70% of the or 7 more than 70% of the failures are either due to the script or environment changes. That is mainly because of the application changes, not because of the application defects or system defects. Okay, so this is where the test execution flockiness comes into picture. We'll look in like slightly, we'll go inside deep and see the exact problem statement. Yeah, so typically whenever in the traditional automation frameworks, typically whenever an application object property changes, the test script breaks. Okay, so and hence the automation engineer is required to do the failure analysis manually, and they need to sit and fix the script issues, right? So the automation engineer manually inspects or spies the objects to see the new property value and find new properties to use, then updates the script or object repository accordingly and reruns the scripts. So this is how typically it happens. So normally the the research tells that every sprint on average we can see that around 35 objects are getting changed, either because of any feature getting introduced and the interdependency between the features. Because of these reasons, around 30 to 35 objects are it's getting impacted or changed per sprint. Okay, so to fix this, at least in the test script perspective, minimum we are expecting around 15 minutes to check the new properties, update the script, rerun the script. To do that for each and every object, we are it's taking around 15 minutes. Then for 35 objects, around almost a day, so 8.7 hours per sprint is what we are taking. If you see from a higher perspective, for 10 sprints or almost some 90 hours is what only these repetitive task is taking. Okay, so how this is happening, the automated scripts fail due to application changes. Obviously, the if you from the testing overall end-to-end perspective, your CI/CD pipeline breaks, and significantly the good number of efforts is going into fixing the automation scripts and failures repeatedly. Okay, this is what is happening repeatedly. uh, Okay, now we will see look into the few of the candidates where this self healing will be the right one to introduce and use it, the use cases perspective. One is the changes in the application, in the agile development, what we just now discussed on that. And applications where UI elements are auto generated. Okay, there are a few scenarios we can see like that. And UI interface changes with time. For example, weather forecast websites, not sure how many are following. There's a low pressure already formed, and it's impacting today. In North Tamil Nadu and Andhra, I suppose today. So many will be following it. So depending on that, the time changes, the time zone. Depending on the time zone, also we will see the UI interfaces getting changed. And the last one is project that needs localization and IDs generated based on the language. So these are the few perfect candidates we can see where the self healing or self auto maintenance of the scripts will be very much helpful. Okay. Okay, now comes to our solution part. Okay, so using the AIML based self healing plugin, automated test scripts are able to dynamically adjust to the changes that may occur in an application. Okay, so whenever a test is executed, it scan all the applications, DOM elements, objects present, and compares with the object repository and detects the changes. So then the test script self heal during the runtime, and all the changes that are detected are automatically updated. Once it self heals, it will go ahead and update the object repository. So self heal engine senses and records user actions in a language that end user can understand and allows for the review. It's better always to have that end user review to be enabled if there is low matching of the depending on the weightage, if there is any low matchings. Okay, so the step by step actions is automation script continues to execute until it enables to find an object. Then objects can't be found, then it's time for self healing. The objects and their properties in the DOM are extracted. So induce AI algorithm to calculate the similarity scores between the object properties. And the last is execute the self-healing plugin auto updates the object repository. That's what we discussed. Okay, for one quick example. Okay, here. Uh, for example, I have a website. Okay, in that I have some 20 different screens. Uh, for a, I have different drop downs. There will be input fields, drop down fields. In the drop down fields, if at all there's a customer requirement comes to update the values in the drop down fields alphanumerically. Okay, that's a very small change, but it will impact all the pages wherever we have drop down changes. Okay, drop down fields are there. So 20 into, for there will be create records, edit records, view records. So every almost 20 records into different number, n number of fields, so much of changes needs to happen. So for this one change, our check how many times our test automation script fails. So how much time it will take to update those scripts. That's where our self healing comes. The plugin automatically remaps the objects, enabling the faultless text execution with no human interaction, and thus saves the test script maintenance effort significantly. Okay, we will now quickly look into our how it was before, and what is the process in the legacy robot frameworks, or for that matter any legacy frameworks, how it was now and how we can have this adopted. Okay, automation engineers need to debug if there is any script failures due to application changes. Automation engineers need to debug the failures for checking the root cause first thing. Then manually they'll check for the new property values which can be updated and used. And then they will update the script or object repository with the new property value or whichever they found, and they would need to re-execute the scripts. Okay, but with the self healing, it captures the object properties. Okay, former object properties which has failed, check for the properties on the value of the similar objects on that page. And using the AI data analytics and custom property weightage, our plugin predicts the most probable object, whichever has the closest weightage scores, and execution continues using the new object property and update the repository for the future use. If there is there may be a question, if there is no closest score, no closest weightage scores, what will happen? Then what the plugin does is it will just keep the uh, have that in the log file. It won't change the script, but it won't change the object repository, but it will have that as in the log, and it will ask for the end users, the automation engineers approval to go ahead and change it. So automation, if there is any low scores, automation engineer can manually verify that, then he can approve it to go ahead and change in all the scripts. So that kind of behavior we can introduce if there is a low scores, if there is any low scores. Okay, we'll just proceed. So what are the value additions? The first is high quality tests can be built and quickly and easily. So and as we discussed, self-healing test automation allows developers to start with a minimal set of scripts which can be run continuously to find buggy ones. The actual problems can be found instead of the script failures, and expedites the testing process, thus saving the overall efforts in the test script maintenance. We saw that right in the earlier slide. So test engineer, he needs to manually, he need to sit and check for the failures. They need to fix it. They need to check for the new properties. They need to fix the scripts. But here, those complete efforts will be saved, and it provides a valuable insights into the application problems alone, and accelerates the debugging process more efficiently. For one more example, if there is, okay, I have I have a again, I will take the same example. I have an application with 20 screens, okay, but in most of the screens, there's a input field called record name, okay, or some bank name. For example, it's a banking site, let's have it as a bank name, but the end user is telling that, I know this is a bank application, why you want to have again a bank name? So for better user friendly naming conversions, they are just converting everything into a just name instead of bank name. So again, what for the automation perspective, what we will see is, again, all some 20 scripts, or I don't know, 30 scripts, they need to go ahead and manually check for the new one, and they need to update it. So it's better we have this self-healing adopted in all the legacy platforms immediately, to avoid the repetitive work. That's what we want to bring it to the table. Yeah, we'll proceed further. There are few data points before concluding. There are few data points want to share it with you. The first one is the most important one with respect to the web application and test automation. At the starting itself, we saw that around, I mentioned, around 70% of the test scripts are failing. Okay, again, as per the research, 73.5% of all the failing tests are because of the bad locator strategies. Okay, so this is a very huge number. This is where our self-healing, we are working against it, and we are definitely wants to decrease these numbers. Okay, the two more numbers we'll check it up, and the second one is going to be 40%. uh, Trend in 2023, it is going to be 40% of all IT teams, or IT all teams for that matter, they will either use ML or AI algorithms to achieve more agility and scalability into the testing process. Okay, the last number, it's a very huge 90%. Okay, this is from Gartner. I just read about it. 90% of all IT companies, they will be having a dedicated job profile called automation architect. So okay, so this is where this hyper automations, orchestration, or cognitive automation is very much getting important. Okay, even today morning we heard from Lisa in keynote session on world quality report, right? We heard on similar lines about automation maintainability. On the charts, in the quality automation charts, we saw that the maintainability is on the top. It tops the chart. This is where our self healing plays a very key role. Okay, the test automation now it has become an integral part of the software development. there are times when test automation falls short of expectations, when it covers all possible use cases or environments. Okay, so that's where self-healing test automation can come to your rescue by fixing all and any problems. They can run and eliminate the defects, thereby our improving our overall software delivering process. Okay, so that's it from our end. We can take up any questions now. Gaurika, over to you, and we can take up any questions in parallel.
Hello.
Gaurika, you are on mute. You are talking on mute.
Oh, I'm saying that let's just hold off for 1 or 2 minutes and see if there are any questions for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have one question. What
Mhm.
is the algorithm for finding most probable matching elements from the application?
This is we are internally developing this algorithm. This is the algorithm which we are developing internally using a AI, using a bot. Okay, so using a AI, we are internally developing. There's nothing we are reusing at this point of time.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sham. And we have another question. Self healing at runtime will add to overall execution time. Any stats on that?
Yeah, it will add, but not significantly. But see, if there is any one changes, once that particular script gets changed with the new property value, it will go and update the object repository. So after that, the remaining scripts, whichever is going to use the same locator, that will be re-executed without any issues. So it will, there will be a increase in the runtime, but not significant, not huge difference will we can oversee over there.
All right. We have one more question for you. What happens if the object is deleted from the page or completely new object gets added?
That we need to add, that will be identified, and it will leave it, it will throw a error to the end user needs to, the automation engineer needs to go ahead and add it to the object repository. They need to enable, allow the AI to add it to the object repository. It won't self heal by itself.
All right. So I think these are the only three questions